There is a mighty force within you greater than fear, stronger than doubt, untouched by circumstance. It is the divine spark, the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Yet too often, we let fear speak louder than faith. We forget that every word, every thought, is a seed there of faith or of fear, and the harvest always matches the seed. When you declare with conviction, I am fearless in the face of every appearance, the universe bends to obey that decree. The spoken word is your wand, and every word builds a bridge from the unseen to the seen. Speak lack, and lack appears. Speak abundance, and abundance rushes forth to meet you. The word you send out returns multiplied, clothed in the fabric of your belief. Fear, dear friends, is faith turned upside down. It is faith in loss, in limitation, in defeat. But when we lift our consciousness, when we say, only good comes to me, only good can come, we turn that inverted faith upright again. We no longer feed the shadows, we command the light. Fear dissolves because it cannot exist in the radiant presence of divine assurance. And then comes the law of non-resistance, the holy art of letting go. To fight fear is to feed it, but to stand still, to affirm, I am unmoved, for divine order governs my life, is to disarm the illusion entirely. Life responds not to panic, but to peace. When you surrender the need to control the how, miracles begin to move swiftly, silently, beautifully. Listen to that quiet voice within you. It is never frantic, never uncertain. It whispers the path of right action, step by step. That voice is the compass of divine intelligence, leading you out of confusion into clarity, out of fear into freedom. Finally, see the end from the beginning. Hold the vision of victory so firmly that no storm can shake it. Imagine yourself already fearless, already triumphant, already walking in divine confidence. The moment you see it and feel it, the invisible world sets its gears in motion to make it so. My friends, let us no longer bow to fear. Let us stand as co-creators with divine law, speaking faith, living truth, radiating courage. For the universe is friendly, life is abundant, and every step you take in faith is a step into freedom. Fear is faith turned upside down. It is the same power, the same creative energy of belief, but directed toward shadows instead of light. When we tremble before circumstances, when we rehearse every possible failure in the theater of our minds, we are using our imagination in reverse. Fear is not something that comes from the outside. It is born of the pictures we hold within. We have given power to appearances, forgetting that life moves from the invisible to the visible. What we believe, we experience. The divine principle is unchanging faith in good brings good. Faith in evil brings the very thing we dread. The moment we understand this, we begin to reverse the current. Every time you feel the grip of fear, pause and remember that it is only faith misplaced. You have believed in lack, in danger, in separation from divine protection. But that separation is illusion. The universe is not against you, it is always responding to your dominant vibration. Replace fear with faith by changing your inner conversation. Instead of saying, I am afraid this will fail, say, I am divinely guided, and success is assured. The vibration of those words calls forth unseen forces of good. The very cells of your body respond to faith-filled speech. Your atmosphere changes, opportunities appear, doors open. The same energy that once created anxiety now builds confidence. Fear thrives on resistance. When you wrestle with it, when you try to suppress it by sheer willpower, it tightens its grip. But when you look it in the eye and say calmly, you have no power here, for only good is real, the spell is broken. Faith does not fight, it knows. Faith stands unmoved while appearances rise and fall, for it knows the divine pattern behind every seeming setback. Fear cannot stand before the consciousness that affirms truth. The moment you shift your belief from danger to divine protection, from scarcity to sufficiency, you rise above the vibration of fear entirely. This transformation is not mere positive thinking. It is spiritual law in action. Words charged with faith become commands to the invisible substance of life. When you speak words of assurance, you are not pretending to be brave. You are aligning with the eternal principle that governs harmony and success. Say often, I walk in faith, not in fear. Every step I take is guided by divine wisdom. Speak it until it feels real, until the peace of certainty fills your heart. As faith expands, doubt dissolves. You begin to see that fear was never an enemy but a teacher, pointing you back to your creative power. Each time you replace fear with faith, you strengthen your spiritual muscles. You learn to trust the invisible order that sustains all life. Fear whispers of loss, Faith declares fulfillment. Fear predicts disaster. Faith expects victory. And what you expect, you attract. Therefore, stand firm in the knowing that all is well, and that the power that created you cannot fail you now. The law of non-resistance is the secret key that unlocks peace in the midst of turmoil. Life was never meant to be a battlefield of constant struggle and striving. Every time we resist, we give power to the very thing we wish to overcome. Resistance is born of fear, and fear binds us to the problem. When we push against appearances trying to force outcomes, control others, or fight circumstances, we entangle ourselves in the web of limitation. Yet the moment we release, the moment we say, "Let divine order take charge," everything begins to flow again. The river of life does not need to be pushed. It moves naturally, powerfully, and purposefully when we cease to obstruct it with our anxious will. Non-resistance is not weakness or passivity. It is spiritual mastery. It is the calm assurance that the universe knows what it is doing, even when appearances suggest chaos. To resist is to distrust divine intelligence. To release is to affirm faith in a higher harmony. When you stop struggling, the divine plan can operate unobstructed. The energy you once spent in worry becomes fuel for creation. You move from tension to trust, from conflict to confidence. You no longer waste your power fighting shadows. You shine light upon them, and they disappear. Think of a stormy sea. When the waves rise, resistance would tell you to battle the water, to flail and fight, but wisdom says, "Be still, float, yield to the current without fear, for it will carry you to calm waters." The same principle governs life's challenges. When we resist what is, we strengthen the storm. When we surrender in faith, the storm exhausts itself. Non-resistance is the art of standing still in consciousness while divine law rearranges conditions in perfect order. The outer world is only a mirror of inner belief. Therefore, peace within produces peace without. There is a great power in quietly affirming, "This too shall pass, for divine order is now established in my life." That statement carries the vibration of certainty. It releases the grip of fear and allows the unseen forces of harmony to restore balance. What you once viewed as an obstacle may reveal itself as a blessing in disguise. For every delay, every detour, carries hidden good. Non-resistance transforms opposition into opportunity. It turns loss into liberation and confusion into clarity. When you stop forcing life to obey your limited plans, you make room for divine intelligence to work miracles. You realize that resistance was only a symptom of doubt. True faith knows that what belongs to you cannot be withheld, and what is not meant for you cannot remain. Therefore, the wise soul meets life with open hands, ready to release what no longer serves and receive what is divinely appointed. In practicing non-resistance, you align yourself with the rhythm of the universe. You become a channel for effortless good. The struggle fades, peace takes its place, and miracles begin to move quietly through your day. As proof that divine order never fails the one who trusts and lets go. Every soul carries within it a compass of quiet, unwavering guidance that speaks not in shouts but in whispers. This is divine intuition, the voice of infinite intelligence expressing itself through you. It is never loud, never anxious, never uncertain. It speaks with the calm authority of truth, guiding you toward perfect outcomes even when the path seems hidden. Yet, too often, we drown out this sacred voice with noise, our doubts, our fears, our endless reasoning. We pray for direction but then rush ahead of divine timing, mistaking impatience for action. The principle of divine order reminds us that nothing comes too soon or too late. Everything unfolds precisely when it should, in perfect rhythm with the divine plan. When confusion clouds your mind and fear begins to whisper its false stories, that is the moment to be still. Silence is the language of intuition. In stillness, you can hear the gentle instruction that was waiting all along. The divine mind knows your needs before you even ask. It is already preparing the right opportunity, the right meeting, the right door to open. Your part is to trust, to listen, and to obey the inner nudge when it comes. The direction of divine intuition is simple, immediate, and clear. It might say, "Call this person," or "Wait a little longer," or "Go forward in confidence." When you follow that quiet direction without resistance or doubt, life begins to arrange itself with effortless precision. Doubt, however, interrupts this harmony. When we question the wisdom of divine order, we create interference in the flow of guidance. The mind begins to argue, the heart begins to waver, and intuition grows faint. To restore clarity, one must return to faith. Affirm, Divine intelligence now shows me the way. I do not fear mistakes, for the light of truth goes before me. That simple statement clears the fog of uncertainty. You begin to sense the right course, not through logic alone, but through a deep inner knowing, a feeling of peace that accompanies truth. Every challenge you face is not a punishment, but a preparation. Divine order uses even seeming setbacks to position you perfectly for your next step. When something you desire does not arrive on your timetable, do not despair. Perhaps the delay is protection. When a door closes, do not mourn. Perhaps it is making way for one that leads directly to your good. The divine mind sees from a higher vantage, weaving together details your human sight cannot yet perceive. Trust that all is unfolding for your highest benefit. Living by divine order and intuition transforms life into a graceful unfolding. Instead of a frantic struggle, you stop chasing and start aligning. You begin to walk with quiet confidence, knowing that every step, even the uncertain ones, are divinely guided. When you honor that inner voice and trust the timing of your path, life ceases to feel random. It becomes a masterpiece of perfect coordination, a living testament to the power of divine intelligence working through you and for you. To see the end from the beginning is to stand in faith before the evidence appears. It is to hold in the mind and heart the picture of your desired good so vividly that it becomes more real to you than present circumstances. This is not fantasy. It is creative vision, the same divine imagination that shapes the world. Every great achievement, every miracle, begins first as an idea conceived in the invisible realm of thought. The imagination is not a place of escape but the workshop of creation. When you visualize with conviction, you impress your subconscious mind with a new pattern, and life begins to rearrange itself to match that pattern. Seeing the end from the beginning means to look beyond appearances and fix your gaze on divine perfection. It means that, even when lack surrounds you, you affirm abundance. When fear arises, you declare courage. When confusion reigns, you claim clarity. The outer world eventually mirrors the inner conviction. The law of life is consistent. Whatever image dominates your consciousness must take form in your experience. To hold the vision of good unwaveringly, especially when appearances contradict it, is the highest form of faith. You are not ignoring reality. You are calling forth a higher reality to replace it. The imagination is your divine instrument. When guided by faith, it creates heaven. When ruled by fear, it creates limitation. Therefore, you must guard it as sacred ground. Picture the outcome you desire: peace, prosperity, love, success, and see it as already accomplished. Feel the joy of it now. Speak of it as though it were done. Gratitude in advance is the magnet that draws your vision into being. The more vivid the picture, the faster it takes shape, for emotion fuels creation. The mind, steeped in faith, emits a vibration that the universe cannot ignore. When you see the end, you cease to waver. Doubt fades because you already know the result. You become like an artist who has seen the finished masterpiece in their mind and only needs to apply the brushstrokes. Life, too, becomes a canvas, and your thoughts, the colors. Every affirmation, every vision, paints the image of your destiny. There is no power in worry or speculation. Power lies in knowing. The moment you know that your good is secure, the law begins to work. Circumstances align, people appear, and opportunities unfold naturally. Many falter because they look only at the visible and forget that all form begins in the unseen. The seed must germinate before it can sprout. Faith holds the vision steady through the unseen stage. To see the end from the beginning is to declare, "It is done," even before you see a sign of it. That declaration releases the creative forces of the universe. When your imagination and your word are united in certainty, nothing can oppose them. So, stand in your vision, walk in your victory, and live as if your prayer has already been answered, for, in truth, it has, and life is merely catching up to your unwavering faith.